Hey guys, welcome back to Interesting Video on Wild Rift. So Zero back with a Nilah updated complete guide. Now Nilah of course is a very unique ADC that, is a melee champion, and it is a champion that I kind of play not too much, and I think most of you guys don't play too much either, but of course we are still going to cover her in this guide. Before we get into it though, don't forget to check out her basic guide for her skills, living order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But without further ado, let's jump straight into talking about her entire loadout. So first off, the first part is pretty standard. You want to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves for the Omni-Vamp as well as the AD. Then you go into the Bloodthirster, which is going to give you the physical Vamp as well as, of course, the nice stats of the AD crit and, of course, the bonus stats when you're high on health. And then we're going to go into IE next, which is, of course, going to give you the health penalty. However, it is going to give you the increased damage as well as, of course, the extra AD. So at this point, your third and fourth item can be swapped. But sometimes you do want to go for Moral Reminder as your third item, which is going to give you the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. But if at this point you don't really need the Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds yet, you can swap it around with Immortal Shield Bow, which is of course going to give you that Lifeline Shield. Very useful for Nilah because she is pretty much always going to be taking a ton of damage because she is always in melee range. Also gives you all of the nice stats. Now alternatively, instead of Shield Bow, you could go for a more offensive option, and by a more offensive option in particular, I'm talking about the Collector, for example. I don't like building the Collector so late, and I don't really like building the Collector at all, but some people do like building Collector early, let's say as a second item or even a first item. Collector can of course work, but if you're all the way to the end of your build and you want to swap Shield Bow out for something, it's probably going to be something like a Phantom Dancer for more attack speed, or Navori Quick Blades for shorter cooldowns, especially on your W and your E. So for the last item, I found that actually in most matches, Death's Dance is actually really good because it just delays the damage you take and of course allows you to, kind of put it into a DPS mode where you're taking like a poison instead of just getting hit all at once. So it prevents you from getting bursted down, and then if you get kills, you are going to be able to cleanse this bleed and gain health as well. So most of the time you're against a lot of physical damage dealers, so this is good most of the times. Of course you still have your other options like your GA for the revive, your Maul against magic damage users, or even Spirit Visage against magic damage users because you heal a lot, so this is going to help you out quite a bit. Even something like a Twin Guard could work, which is going to make you really tanky. So for the runes, instead of going for First Strike, we're back with going for Conqueror, because we're now we can still go for First Strike and focus on one-shotting people down, but actually honestly now I think that Conqueror is probably the better option. Let's see what the top players are taking. They're actually all Nilah jungle, which does make sense because Nilah jungle is a lot better than Nilah ADC. We have covered Nilah jungle in a separate video, so check that out if you want to see Nilah jungle. But we have Conqueror here. Of course, just stacking it up, giving you extra AD as well as some extra Omni-Vamp. We have Gathering Storm because honestly with Nilah you don't auto attack as much as other ADCs. You use a lot of your spells like your Q, your E and your ulti instead of auto attacking a lot. You still auto attack a decent amount, but most Nilah players have figured out, as you can see here, that Gathering Storm or even Triumph is going to be better than Brutal. So Giant Slayer of course is an obvious option, and here we have Legend Alacrity for more attack speed. Now for your last rune, you have quite a bit of options. So first off, I like to take Second Wind personally because in lane Nilah can get bullied a lot, and Second Wind is going to just help you survive the lane. If you want something more offensive, of course Sudden Impact is there because Nilah does have double dash on her E, so she can proc Sudden Impact really easily and of course deal a lot of extra damage. Hex Splash is of course always an option as well because you can ult and Hex Splash in and just get off a nice combo. So it kind of depends on what you want, but I like going for Second Wind personally when I'm in lane. So for the spells, Flash as well as Exhaust is pretty much always going to be the way to go because you're always going to be in exhaust range, so you can always exhaust the enemy. Of course Ghost is also an option as well, but I think Exhaust is mostly better for Nilah. But with all that said, let's talk about the gameplay. Alright, so as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But with all that said, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so here as you guys can see, we are dual queue with the Leona. Now, does Nilah like to play with Engage or Enchanter? Well, she kind of does well with both. Now, personally, I like to play Nilah with Engage because this allows me to follow up from the Engage and just dash on top of someone and use my dash for damage instead of gap closing. Whereas if you have an Enchanter, this works really well as well because Nilah is a mid to late game ADC that scales very, very well on 2-3 items and 4 items, you know, etc. She is completely insane, and as such, having an enchanter to kind of tide you through the early game as well as to get you to help you do more damage when you are at your power spikes also really helps as well. So overall, in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is that basically she does well with both. So it doesn't quite matter. They both have their pros and cons. Might also be a little bit about what you prefer. You know, I kind of like both, to be honest, but you know, I kind of just prefer engagers just slightly to enchanters, because you know you can also go in with them with your ulti, things like that. So here we hit level 2. Unfortunately, at level 2, Alistar and Vayne are pretty strong, so we don't really want to mess with them all that much. However, Nilah is one of the strongest level 3s in the game. 2 dashes that do damage, a Q, and a W that can immune auto attack. So most of the time, I try to get a fight at level 3 if possible. Now here, Alistar is unfortunately going in at level 2 where we aren't that strong yet. But thankfully, we still have the fruit, so Leona is able to take the fruit, get back to half health. Enemy team is pushing in, which is going to give us level 3 off of these 2 minions. We do get level 3 now. Master Yi just randomly comes in, tanks a tower shot, and calls it a day. Master Yi, you're going to see a lot of sus plays from the Master Yi because, yeah, for some reason, he's a little bit not really the best player in the world. But yeah, so here we're just going to clear out the minions. We are level 3 now. Here we spot Alistar, so we're just going to disrupt his back. Leona goes in. You can see we follow up with the dash and into Q combo. Now here we couldn't really kill him, to be very honest, but he didn't need to flash. But the fact that he did flash means that we just got a major win there. Getting Alistar's flash is huge, means he can't do any of the flash combos like the Q flash, or you know, he can't like Q and then flash behind and WU, things like that. So getting Alistar's flash is pretty huge. You know, small wins. And here we're gonna take a reset, and we're going to grab ourselves the Gluttonous Greaves, which is of course gonna be our first power spike in the game, as with most other champions. Vayne has her Berserkers completed as well, so we both have boots. Now Vayne of course could be playing a lot more aggressive to bully me, but thankfully she isn't, because she could just tumble forward, auto attack, and just back off. I would have second wind to help me out a little bit, but I would still be taking quite a tremendous amount of damage. So if you know, we get an all-in, it's kind of a win for us, whereas Vayne kind of prefers the poke. Now here you can see that Vayne hits level 5, whereas me and Leona have not. I now hit level 5, so I'm going in, and you can see that Vayne gets hit by basically everything. Alistar now gets slowed down by the Leona ulti, has nowhere to run, hit butts me away, but I'm able to just walk back and pick up a kill. Now the real mistake that Alistar made here is, for some reason he went in when he is only level 4, and I was about to hit level 5, Leona also about to hit level 5, Vayne was level 5, and although that is the case, Vayne's level 5 power spike honestly is not really that strong. Like, yes, she gets a little bit extra AD and movement speed as well as the invisibility from the final hour, but it's not the same as a lot of other ADCs where the level 5, you know, they get a huge game-changing ultimate, like Nilah, for example. Like, that ultimate was huge. I hit both of them, got insane healing, got insane damage, and it definitely helped me quite a bit to kill the Vayne. Vayne could have flashed out, but she did, so there was that. But anyways, I would of course overall call it a success. You know, we just got a double kill. Pretty insane. But yeah, the main way we won that, by the way, is through the W. So you can see the Jubilant Veil, how strong it really is. The W pretty much immuned Vayne's auto attacks for the first half of the fight. So she wasn't able to get down enough DPS, and by the time they both committed to the fight, you know, we basically just won already. Now here, alright, sorry, a number of reminders coming up on my devices, but here Master Yi comes in again, pretty much doesn't really do very much. Unfortunately here I make the mistake of trying to go in with the same combo again. However, this time, the problem is I'm between the wall and Vayne, which allows Vayne to condemn me into the wall and get a kill onto me. Now what I should have done here is to instead, I could have gone in, but I shouldn't be going between Vayne and the wall, so I should go a little bit more to the right. Although you could say that Vayne played that well by tumbling and condemning me into the wall, so I shouldn't have been going in there since Leona missed her E already. So that was definitely my mistake. We end up giving a kill over. Thankfully not to the Vayne though, so that's not too bad. Now the next wave is here. We're just going to quickly push out the wave because we can see Vayne rotating to the dragon. And we're going to try to rotate as well we're getting there, but unfortunately we are kind of realizing that I can't really just walk straight in there. I have to walk the long way around. But it turns out that it's really, can't really do very much, so I just have to run and blast plant back over. And then now we are going to have to recall, and as you can see, the enemy team is able to zone us off the dragon completely and get the dragon for themselves. So it doesn't quite work out in this particular case, but we are, we at least don't die, I guess, is what you could say, which is better than, some other members on our team, like Yone, who just went in and just died pretty much by himself, and then, by the way, just started flaming the whole entire team when he decided to just jump in and attack people by himself. But anyways, here we are clearing out the wave. We are getting enough of Bloodthirster here, so we're gonna go back, grab the Bloodthirster, and here we don't see Vayne in top lane for a long time. So here I'm pinging that she's missing. I'm assuming that she's going to go to the fight here. She does actually end up showing up before me, which is pretty expected. Yasuo picks up a triple kill, and here we're trying to make it to the fight. Unfortunately, we're kind of just caught between three people now. I'm trying to kill the Yasuo because he does have a shutdown after getting the triple kill. We do get the Yasuo and the shutdown, but Vayne does get the kill on me in return, which I believe is it's not a shutdown because we did die just now. But yeah, we are still at 1k gold ahead of the Vayne, and we're about on par with the Yasuo, so we're still doing pretty alright, pretty well in fact, not just alright, but pretty well. So that wasn't really the best trade in the world. I could have just simply not went in. But honestly, when I really think about it, I think trading me for Yasuo is kind of worth because I get the 600 gold shutdown and Vayne gets her first kill of the game. It is definitely arguable whether it is worth or not, but I chose to take the trade anyways. I knew I would die, but yeah, I did get the kill on Yasuo by the skin of my teeth, and yeah. So here we're back in the lane in the 2v2. Leona's taking a bunch of damage. However, Vayne ends up overcommitting. Gets run down, and we end up finishing her off. Now, I'm not quite sure where Alistar was. I thought he was in the bush, and I thought Vayne was baiting, but turns out that Alistar wasn't in the bush at all, and Alistar actually recalled, and Vayne simply chose to go in by herself. A little bit over-aggressive there. Now Alistar is back, so we're ignoring him, and we're just going for the tower. Now we are actually whacking him, but he pops the ulti, which is good enough, because honestly, we can't kill him with the ulti anyways. So we don't get baited to run all the way toward the enemy side of the map. So we're just going to clear the wave and leave him be. Of course, now you have a mental note that Alistar does not have his ulti anymore. So if we get into a fight relatively soon, we can take advantage of the fact that he doesn't have an ulti. So we go back, we get both, not really both, but we get some IE components because we don't really have the cloak completed yet, but we do have the glove. So we get some IE components here. And we are going to head back to the lane, of course, and continue on farming. You can see we do a lot of damage to the wave already with the low chance crits. Vayne and Alistar are now in the mid lane. I'm walking through the vision to get to mid lane, so they definitely know that I'm coming, but I don't quite care that they know I'm coming because it's not like I'm planning to hop in on them anyways. However, now they have mid lane priority, and you can see that they are rotating down to bot where a fight is occurring. I'm hastily trying to clear the wave. And we are pinging that they're about to reach the fight before us, and we are making our way there as well. So if they can hang on just for a little bit, this will be a successful fight because we do have the flank. Leona goes in onto the Vayne. I'm fully committing onto the Vayne as well. Even committing my flash to ensure that my ulti hits the Vayne. So Vayne does end up going down. Alistar is running away on 1 HP. Malphite ends up dying as well. Now Yasuo is going to the fight 1v3 with multiple low health bars. Leona hits multiple forms of CC onto the Yasuo. Yasuo's Ignite kills the Leona. And Yasuo gets the tornado onto the A-Soul, but unfortunately he doesn't hit the tornado onto me, which now allows me to finish off the kill onto him. So overall, huge success. We end up killing pretty much all of the enemy team members, and with only, I think, Leona dying on our side. So I would definitely say that's a pretty huge win for my team and myself. Now you can see that I'm almost at 9k gold, and that is like 1k gold at least more than anybody else in the game. So we're quite far ahead of the curve, and this is not very often that you find yourself as Nilah very ahead of the curve, because most of the time you find yourself more so bullied in lane and things like that instead of actually being ahead. So it's definitely not really the most common scenario here. Master Yi is dead, dying in 1v1 versus Urgot, so this should be a free dragon. Urgot is now getting run down though. Malphite is trying to face check, does end up getting caught, gets a 4-man ulti, but doesn't really do that much damage. Here I'm going in, I get a 3-man ulti, and now I'm just running them down. Yasuo and Vayne both 1 HP, I'm getting slowed. Thankfully we finish 1 kill, Urgot finishes the other, and someone else, maybe Aso, gets the 3rd. So now everyone but the Master Yi is dead. And we're just going to be able to get this tower. Probably the next tower as well, because Master Yi cannot defend the tower by himself. He'll probably just die if he tries to defend the tower. Aso quickly clearing out the minions. Master Yi decides to go in with a Q for some reason and does end up just dying to the Urgot. He does manage to clear the minions though, so we don't get the inhib. So arguably that was worth for Master Yi because he traded his life to save the inhib, which I think is honestly not that bad of a trade at this point considering how behind he is. So since no one's taking the blue buff, we're gonna grab that. Fight breaks out here, so we go in onto like multiple people, and then we can attack multiple people at the same time because of our Q. We're just attacking Alistar and the Vayne. We're focusing Vayne now. Vayne pushes us away, which allows Aso to get the kill. Basically, Vayne had a choice of who she wants to die to, and she chose to die to Aso instead of me. And now we're gonna quickly grab this tier 2 tower. Aso and myself are basically just destroying this Master Yi. Like Master Yi, I don't know why he's going in on us, but he does end up going down as well. And Alistar is now getting focused once again by the Aso, but of course we want to reset and get items. So in this particular match, I felt going Maul Reminder 3rd made a lot of sense because we did have a lot of healing on the enemy team. Like you can see Master Yi, Vayne, and Yasuo all have a Bork. And of course we have a very tanky Alistar who's only about to get tankier. So we are going for the earlier Maul Reminder. I say earlier because normally it's like your 4th crit item, not your 3rd crit item. So we're going for an earlier Maul Reminder. You can see how much damage we're doing to Alistar, by the way. He does have ult. Doesn't look like he wants to use it. Uses it at the last moment. Dies anyway. And yeah, Malphite has to run for the hills. So here I'm just gonna go collect the red buff. Looks like Urgot does have the Yasuo handled. That is indeed the case. Doesn't really need my help. So I'm gonna go to mid lane and clear the wave while the Aso and the Yone are fighting over the wolves. Yeah. So here there is a possibility to just straight up do Baron, and that looks like exactly what my team is doing. The enemy team is really far behind, and 2 members are down at the moment. Urgot is just zoning away anybody from the area in general, and we are able to get a free Baron without any contest pretty much. So now the thing is, with the Baron, we should be pushing multiple lanes, so we should be pushing top and bot as well. You can see Yone is wasting time farming the enemy Gromp. I always say you shouldn't be farming the enemy jungle when you have Baron. You should be using your Baron to push. And here the rest of us are trying to push mid, but with everybody there to defend mid, it's not very efficient. Master Yi comes in from behind, only to really just die, essentially. We get a 3-man ult again. Urgot does get the execute with his ultimate, and yeah, because of that poor engage by Master Yi, he looks like he's about to cost his team the game. Nexus shield is active, but only Alistar is left alive, so we can just simply finish off the game right here. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Victory!